Hi everybody. Those who don't know me, my name is Madhura Shelar. I am one of the directors of ELC, Excellence Learning Center. We are an MBA entrance coaching institute. Well, आज का जो video है, that is essentially focusing the students who are preparing for MBA CET 2021. Now we all are eagerly waiting for the notification of the exam to be out. And I can clearly understand that it's the students who are the most anxious. The obvious reason is until then they have to keep on preparing. So the main motto of today's video is trying to clear the doubts that are there in the minds of the students with respect to how should I be motivated in these last 1.5 or 2 months until the notification and the exact MBA CET examination happens. What should be my study planner? What should be my strategy so that I can score as much as possible? And I will effectively be dealing with 3 different groups of students. One who have already prepared well and who are very much on the track, but they are in a dilemma ki, should I really take mocks on a daily basis? Or should I focus on my weaker areas? What should be my study planner? The second group that I'll be focusing is the students who had earlier prepared, but let's say because of their examinations, because of certain weddings or events in their families, or because of COVID emergencies, they have lost track. And the third group that I'll be dealing with is the students who are late awakened for the CET examination and who have absolutely no idea. They're absolutely clueless कि CET examination का pattern कैसा है. And now if I want to really target for this examination, is this span of let's say 1.5 or 2 months sufficient for me? So let us talk about this on a very realistic basis कि जब भी कोई नोटिफिकेशन आता है, we presume कि करीबन 2 weeks का स्पैन होगा जब तक वो नोटिफिकेशन आने के बाद registration process होगा. And after the registration is done, we'll probably have a window of let's say 15 days more that the admit cards would be released. So I am assuming that we still have around 1.5 months of span. Now this is around minimum 1.5 month span that I still have with me. It could be more than that as well. So given this time frame, what should be my study planner and what should be my study strategy? Now another thing that I have to discuss here is कि normally MBA CET examination ये मार्च महीने में हो जाता है. So तब काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि you already have your cap calls, आपके IIM के calls होते हैं, top B schools के call होते हैं, and you're supposed to juggle between multiple tasks at the same time. But now that you have only CET to be prepared on a full-fledged basis, I definitely would say कि you have good amount of quality time to be devoted. And thanks again to the COVID situation that we all are locked up inside our houses, but how can we utilize this time to the fullest? So addressing the first group, that is the group who have already prepared well, who are pretty good with their concepts, but who want to keep themselves aligned with the same pace and want to enhance or sharpen their skills. Because ultimately ये होता है कि आप जितना ज़्यादा practice करते हो and when you start taking the mocks, there comes a stage where your score gets stagnant, and enhancing your score by let's say 1 or 2 marks also takes a lot of efforts. So the growth graph is normally exponential. अगर आपको 70 marks से 100 marks तक जाना है तो वो target achieve करना relatively आसान होगा. लेकिन उस 100 को जब आपको 105, 110 and आगे लेके जाना है तो काफी efforts लेने पड़ते हैं. So I would say the students who have already prepared, मेरा advice ये होगा कि rather than taking mocks on a daily basis, until the notification is out, okay, until the CET exact date notification is out, my suggestion would be span your day ki around quarter part of your day, or let's say half of your day, you're focusing on the practicing of the concepts. Now by practicing, I mean it should be a time-bound practice. So effectively focusing on the topic-wise test, focusing on the sectional test, and focusing on, it would be as simple as randomly marking some 10 or 15 questions in your book, in the physical copy of the book, and in using a stopwatch in a time-bound manner, practicing those set of questions. And make it a point कि दिन में, in the entire day, you're covering at least 3 sections. Because CET में effectively 5 sections आते हैं. So here I'm presuming कि LR and DI is counted as a separate section. So entire day में you should be covering at least 3 sections of your day. Now, when you study, please make sure that you're studying in slots or pieces of at least 2.5 hours. because I firmly believe कि it's futile sitting in for 5 or 8 hours continuously, because ultimately our human body also tends to achieve a certain saturation level, and which is why एक 2-2.5 घंटे के बाद you actually need a mental switch. Now how can that mental switch be productive? You can rather divert yourself to revising certain formulas, or let's say you read a small piece of novel जहाँ पे आपका comprehension, reading skills is also taken care of, at the same time you're getting refreshed. Or it could be as simple as revising your tables, squares and cubes, or it could be vocabulary. So normally हमारे regular patches में हम recommend करते हैं कि vocabulary के जो apps होते हैं वो भी अगर आप download कर लो तो you can undergo certain modules, and those modules are as small as maybe 5 minutes या 10 modules, 10 minutes के capsules होते हैं. So you can revise those. Now next half of the day में when you take up a mock, okay, आपका mock जो भी होगा full length mock, it is going to consume around 2.5 hours of your time. So let the analysis stay for the next day, and अगले दिन आपका planner ये होना चाहिए कि because you have finished the mock the previous day, the next day when you begin, it should start with the analysis of the previous day's mock. And the analysis is realistically going to consume at least 4 to 5 hours. Trust me, people, analysis of the mocks is all the more important, because that helps you to understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and what are the areas जो आप can't solve से at least can solve category में डाल सकते हो. Okay, it's an eye opener for most of them, and in fact we are planning to prepare a video even on how the analysis of the mocks should happen, because many students are unaware about it. Okay, coming to the next point now. So when I talk about the analysis, once the analysis is done, the next day, the remaining half of the day may try and cover the remaining 2 sections, plus additionally एक section आप bonus में cover करिए, जिसमें मेरा advice होगा कि visual reasoning, as much as possible, try to cover it on a daily basis, because MBA CET में visual reasoning is the most scoring section, and उसमें 25 questions में से I have seen students who score in a bracket of 23, 24 plus, given a leverage of around 1 or 2 questions to be gone wrong because of maybe the difficulty level, or because the question was so complicated in interpreting that you couldn't attempt it. So visual reasoning is one area that you should focus on. Now, this should be your planner, जिसमें effectively you are spending around 8 to 10 hours of study on a daily basis. How do you want to do it? Should be pre-planned on the previous day. So when I'm winding up for my day, next day मुझे क्या करना है? It should not be a surprise. Because I've seen students जो आधा वक्त तो ये सोचने में ही गवा देते हैं कि आज मुझे क्या करना है, and मैं शुरुआत कहाँ से करूँ? So starting is the most important thing. This is something that you need to remember. Now coming to the second group of students who were already preparing, they were very much on the track, but because of certain events, they have lost the track. And it's very obvious कि जब आपका एक streamlined preparation खराब हो जाता है, सबसे पहले तो getting that on track is a big task. Secondly, कहीं ना कहीं आपका confidence कम हो जाता है, because एक दिमाग में एक reasoning आने लगता है कि as compared to the others, I have not been able to touch based on my concepts, so I have effectively lost out on the time. So for those students, मेरा advice होगा कि first and foremost thing, start with a section that you love the most, because at this moment it is very important for you to get back on that track, and वो आपको सिर्फ आपका favorite section ही achieve करने में मदद करेगा. So let's say for example, मेरा mathematics weak है. I should not be touching on mathematics for a couple of days, precisely 5 days or 1 week, until I get myself on track. But at the same time, you should have a timer ticking in your mind that I don't have the privilege of, experimenting for, let's say, half of the month and, studying at a leisurely pace of only 2 hours or 4 hours. That shouldn't be the case. So let's say I am fond of LR. So LR mein, I should be covering at least 2 topics on a daily basis. And if I'm not very good with puzzles, I can touch upon the standalone topics जो MBA CET में है and जो short basis में आते हैं. So I should effectively cover the most important topics, which if I cover up in the given time frame, I will be able to attempt and get good amount of marks. Now, apart from the most favorite section, by now you should have categorized कि इन 5 में से मेरे top 3 priority वाले sections कौन से हैं. So effectively, you should start for the earlier 4 or 5 days, or let's say maximum 7 days जो आपके वीक में है, you should be focusing on these top 3 sections. And धीरे धीरे आपको जो आपका इतना ज़्यादा फेवरेट सेक्शन नहीं है, उसके एटलीस्ट कुछ कैन सॉल्व कैटेगरीज होंगे. So again coming back to the same category कि मैथमेटिक्स मुझे अच्छा लगता है, I can even solve, but when it comes to attempting it in the mock, I consume a lot of time. तो अगर हम रियलिस्टिकली देखें मॉक देते वक्त या एक्चुअल एग्जामिनेशन के वक्त, व्हाट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट? इज इट मोर इम्पोर्टेंट कि जो कॉन्सेप्ट मैंने पढ़ा था वो मुझे एग्जाम में सॉल्व करना ही है बाय हुक और बाय क्रूक, देन इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ व्हाटएवर टाइम आई एम कंज्यूमिंग? नो. एक्चुअल एग्जामिनेशन में इंपॉर्टेंट ये है कि भले ही मुझे कोई सेक्शन अच्छा लगता है, अगर वो सेक्शन मुझे रिटर्न्स नहीं दे रहा है, मैं उसको साइड में रखता हूँ. सीईटी होने के बाद जितने आपको उस सेक्शन के क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने हैं, करते बैठिए, पूरा दिन आपके पास है. सो अभी आपको उसी सेक्शन के साथ दोस्ती करनी है सबसे ज्यादा, जो आपको अल्टीमेटली रिटर्न्स देने वाले हैं. एंड इफ यू स्टिल फील कि लेट्स से मैथमेटिक्स एक एरिया है या फॉर एग्जांपल डीआई एक एरिया है जो अगर मैं गुड अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम फ्रेम में प्रैक्टिस करूं तो आई कैन डेवलप दैट कंफर्ट जोन टू सॉल्व एंड स्कोर इक्वली, तो डेफिनेटली करिए. बट उनमें फिर कैटेगराइज करिए कि दीज आर द एरियाज जो मैं श्योर शॉट अटेम्प्ट कर सकता हूँ, दीज आर कैन सॉल्व एंड दीज आर कैन नॉट सॉल्व. सो इन कैन नॉट सॉल्व वाले एरियाज को आपको पूरी तरह से इग्नोर करना है. Got it? And again, I mean, for the half of the day when you're practicing your top 3 priority wale sections, remaining half mein you should be taking up topic wise test, and whenever possible the frequency of the full length mocks will be less as compared to the students who are very much on the track, but you should be taking the full length mocks so that at the same time whatever you are studying, you're able to replicate it in your actual mock and you're able to see the results for yourself. These two processes should go simultaneously. Now coming to the third category of the students who have not prepared anything, who have just decided कि मुझे अभी MBA CET एग्जाम देना ही है and CET 21 देना है because thanks to the notification जो डिले हो चुका है, and पहले मैं प्लान कर रहा था CET 22 दूँ, but now I might as well target the CET 21. तो उन लोगों के लिए सबसे पहले एडवाइस होगा कि आप MBA CET का मॉक टेस्ट दीजिए, कोई भी एक मॉक टेस्ट दीजिए ताकि आपको खुद पता पड़ेगा कि MBA CET का सिलेबस क्या है, व्हाट इज द एग्जाम पैटर्न, एंड मोर देन दैट आपको समझ में आएगा कि मेरे स्ट्रेंथ्स क्या है, मतलब कौन सा सेक्शन में सही तरीके से अटेम्प्ट कर पाया, ऐसे कौन से क्वेश्चंस थे जो मुझे कम वक्त में मैं अगर प्रैक्टिस करूं तो रियलिस्टिकली मैं उसमें स्कोर कर पाऊंगा, या फिर टाइम मैनेजमेंट में किस प्रकार से कर पाया. Was I under tremendous pressure कि वहाँ पे घड़ी की टिक टिक हो रही है, वहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस आगे दौड़ रहे हैं, I was just absolutely lost. So इन बच्चों के लिए मैं सजेस्ट करूंगी कि सबसे पहले ऐसे फुल लेंथ मॉक दीजिए ताकि आपको खुद एनालाइज करने के लिए आसान जाएगा, इवैल्यूएशन करने के लिए आसान जाएगा कि मैंने कौन से सेक्शन से शुरुआत करनी है. And then you should categorize on the question. So when you take, let's say 2 or 3 mocks continuously जब आप दोगे, आपको एक पैटर्न समझ में आएगा कि there are some set of questions जो repeatedly आते हैं, and उन टॉपिक्स को बस चुनना है, उन टॉपिक्स को आपको स्टडी करना है, एंड जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे धीरे धीरे आपके स्कोर को एनहांस करना है. लेकिन कैसे करना है कि LR में मैंने कुछ टिपिकल 4-5 टॉपिक्स पुल आउट किए जो मुझे दिख रहे हैं कि लगातार आ रहे हैं. सिमिलरली वर्बल के सेक्शन में मैंने ऐसे कुछ 4 टॉपिक्स चुने जो मुझे लगातार नजर आ रहे हैं. DI एंड VR में भी आपको एक सिमिलर पैटर्न समझ में आएगा. एंड अगेन यू फॉल इन द सेम कैटेगरी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स जो डेली बेसिस पे आपको 8 घंटे मिनिमम देने हैं, 8 to 10 hours. एनीथिंग मोर देन 8 hours इज गोइंग टू बी अ बोनस. अब ये 8 घंटे किस प्रकार से देने, दैट इज अप टू यू. सो इट कुड बी अ स्पैन ऑफ 4 slots of 2 hours. It could be 1 slot could be of 3 hours. Then I study for only 1.5 hours and I can compensate it for the remaining slots. वो flexibility मैं आप लोगों को देती हूँ because you yourself will be able to understand कि आपका regular schedule क्या है and how much of time you can give to that one particular section. So I hope I have somewhere been able to address the commonly ticking queries in the minds of the students, because recently काफी students हमें ये पूछ रहे हैं कि what should I do? Should I take mocks on a daily basis? Yeah, I've really lost my motivation. I'm losing my track. So how is it that I can get back on track? And the honest answer to it is just span your slots. Try and make a schedule जहाँ पे आप minimum 8 घंटे पढ़ सकते हो. And last but not the least, I have this very important and interesting poem to share with you. So this was something when I used to prepare for जब MBA entrance exams के लिए मैं prepare कर रही थी. So I'm an engineer basically, and after completing my job for 1 year, I did my MBA, post which I was working in the investment banking domain, and then I joined ELC as one of the directors. So this is one very interesting poem that I want to share with you people. खास करके उनके लिए who still feel कि we have lost our motivation, and this is out for you. If you think you are beaten, you are. It's very obvious. अगर आपको ये लग रहा है कि you've lost, you cannot dare anything, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you would like to win but think you can't, it's almost certain you won't, because it's here. Everything is here in the mind. So if you think that you have lost, nothing can change it. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or the faster man. Please remember these. The last 4 lines are very important, and I literally get goosebumps while reading these lines, Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or the faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the one who thinks he can. So I hope I have been able to motivate you people, and even a sheer bit of motivation somewhere or the other is going to definitely help you enhance your scores. All the best, and thank you.